So when I started at Lifeworks more than 20 years ago, we had a sales department and we had job developers who primarily focused on going out into the community, meeting with businesses, and identifying business needs.
I don't know if we had the word community inclusion, yet employment was the way we got that done.
And so we oftentimes took a group of individuals with varying interests and needs and wants in terms of employment and made them fit into a mold that really wasn't what they were wanting.
You know, for a long time, people with disabilities got a chance at a job because people thought they should. It was more of a charity. It was the right thing to do. And you know what, that's not bad. That gave people a shot at a job. But you know what, things need to evolve.
And so one of the biggest evolutions that Lifeworks has made is really taking that model apart and starting first and foremost with that individual.
Lifeworks' goal is for every person who wants to work to be directly hired by the business.
It's no different than you and I looking for a job. And so where you start is, what kind of job do you want to do? What are your talents? What are your passions? How can you apply those to making your life better and the community stronger?
When a person's directly hired by the business, they're a part of that community, they get those fringe benefits, and the company is more invested in that employee.
We migrated away from having job developers that focused on that business need and put in place a career placement counselor position that gets to know that job seeker and that individual. They develop a rapport with them, they work with them to identify interests, skills, what they want to pursue in terms of employment.
And the career placement counselor helps them apply for that job, helps them onboard, and then ultimately fades those supports back once the person is comfortable in their role.
I think one of the biggest things that we've learned, that we've seen, is that it works better. And what I mean by that is we have satisfied employees because they're doing work that they want to do, that they're engaged in. Retention is a lot higher. We've got a deficit of job seekers to available jobs in Minnesota. Why would we not use every talent that we have?
We think that it's important to keep evolving our mindset because the innovations and the really inclusive, progressive solutions that were inclusive and progressive 40 years ago or even 20 years ago are not necessarily the inclusive and progressive solutions that we need today.
Over the last year, Lifeworks has invested in further training and education for our entire organization with the intention of really helping us to better support people and understand the barriers that exist in society.
I'm always looking for ways to help people step outside of their comfort zone, and even for me to step out of my comfort zone. And that's where the challenges and the creativity comes in, to figure how to help this individual.
We know that that's the first step towards a path to disability allyship, but we know that we need to keep interrogating our mindsets, the things that we think to be true, and how that impacts our actions toward people with disabilities.
There's a large section of our population that we haven't been using their talent. We have a need now. So tapping into that can do nothing but just make our community stronger.
I love my job because I get to see people living their best lives. I get to be a part of that journey. And that goes beyond a paycheck, right? To see someone do a thing that maybe they didn't think they could do, or maybe the people in their life said, nah, that's not for you. And then to see them achieve that and need less supports, that's great. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
When we listen to the voices of people with disabilities, our whole communities become more accessible to all sorts of people.
It's a movement that takes time, and yet we still need to challenge the boundaries of it.
I think the biggest barrier just is inexperience. But there's also a growing willingness to learn on both sides, how to make it work.
So as part of our evolution at Lifeworks, we need our community members, our business partners to step up so that we can take a step back.
You know, so if you ever had that thought that you could have done something bolder, you could have done something bigger, you could have been the one in front, now's the time to do that.